hell was just dating James, the same British punk I just described, who was fucking Kristen. And I mean, you pick someone in the group? Like, this is like history repeating itself. So this, Sarah, to answer your question, is why I said Vanderpump Rules is the best show that ever was on Bravo. And now this is it. This is it. Everyone is complaining about all the fake shit and Robin. Why didn't you tell us? And we will never see Legacy on our TV screens. And now we have Atlanta with, like, I mean, She by Sheree 20 years later. Woohoo. Like, it's a bunch of like made up. And I mean, God, now we're like re-editing the OC to make Taylor a housewife. And I mean, that ain't a good sign. I mean, we have nothing left here. We're out of gas with these shows, girl. We're out of gas.
Absolutely right. No, you're 100% correct. When you broke it down for me this weekend like that, I was like, okay. This is really, really, really TV gold, because you're right. It is like nearly impossible to find that in real life and be authentic, and think that this friend group for 9 years, I mean, basically is like living like a polygamous cult, essentially, where they're just all fucking each other. I mean, when they could literally leave the ranch here in West Hollywood and have anyone else, but they don't. They're at Schwartz and Sandy's blowing each other. I mean, it is wild. And I don't know. I actually am thinking about going back to season 1 and just like watching all the way through and giving my hot take, because
you should.
I have to agree with you. I mean, we had the third part 3 of RHOP, recently air, the reunion. And it's just like, does anyone, I mean, we're so like that whole reunion for those, it's pulling at fucking straw, like at Chris, that nothing happened. And literally the reunion was over and over again of these stupid rumors about Chris that never existed. And then, that Candy gal is broke and we know she's not. It's just like, yeah. When you put it up against now, unfortunately,
I mean, like, to understand, these people are fucking. They are fucking each other.
I know. They're wearing matching necklaces to signal one another's love. I mean,
and by the way, Kristen, the girl that Tom left her for with Ariana, is now like, because Kristen has broken her silence, she came right on weeks ago when this happened, like saying like she's with Ariana. So that's the thing. It's not like Housewives. I don't know if it's because they're younger. Housewives, you do this look, Vanderpump doesn't speak to Richards, Reza and MJ, they're coming back together now. But like, you come back together. But this is like literally, this is actual sex and cheating and everyone's best friends. So like the Kristen, the girl we started with, is at Ariana's side. The whole reason that her relationship with Tom, the love of her life at that point, she's their best friends now. So it's like, that's the great thing about it. Kristen's not even on the show. They're still in this group. Stassi, Jax, they're still all talk to each other. It's not, for the most part. You know what I mean? That is it's so organic. You cannot script that, tap someone on the shoulder, tell them what to say. Now, there are some fake things that were existing in this show before this season. This was, I know for a fact, that they were paid very little this season. I know this for a fact.
Wow, really? Their biggest season yet? Wow.
Well,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're getting
that was going to happen, but
right. And then now cameras are back up, which we'll talk about that, because cameras are back up with Drew and Ralph in Atlanta. Maybe this is the new trend, as it should be. I don't know. Maybe they are getting paid more now, but going into this season after 2 miserable seasons with ratings, they were told, make or break this, figure it out, kids, because this is over. Vanderpump was not paid $1 for this. She was paid a lot, but my sources, from very reliable sources, were that the salaries here all went to Miss Vanderpump. And I think they were just like, we can't afford to keep the damn show on the air. You're all taking a pay cut and getting nothing, basically, to come back and figure this shit out. But yes, they have figured it out. And yeah, this is coming back, and it's coming back. We just bought ourselves like 3 years, 4 years here, guys.
And what do you make of, I believe, so Lisa Vanderpump is returning to Watch What Happens Live,
By the time everyone hears this, she'll already have done right. So then
Wait, so
Andy,
was that an emergency invite or was that always scheduled?
I think it was always maybe scheduled. I think she was going to be on this season. I don't know about that week that she was on, but sure enough, let's bump that up and get her. And then Andy's also, I mean, it's going to be, by the time everyone hears this, they will already been out. Andy's was tweeting. Yeah, Andy was on all weekend, his
All
Instagram
weekend.
when this first happened. And then, he even said, I can't, and Lisa's like, my heart can't take it. Like, I can't. I mean, what does LVP think? She's there. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, when you say, like, do I think Lisa would come back to Beverly Hills Housewives? And look, I think she would, but this is why she doesn't need to. I mean, she's paid really well to helm this show and be in it for 3 seconds an episode. And just imagine, Sarah, like you and I have pitched many ideas for, imagine if your role in a show was just looking down and helping all the kids that are going through. You had a front row seat to this. Your name was on the show and you were making a lot of money from it. It's a great job. I'm not sure. And listen, when I saw Lisa last summer in the Hamptons, I saw Lisa and Ken, just, off the record, they were like, look, like, I mean, Lisa's writing a book. I mean, I think that's a known fact. I don't think I'm spilling anything I shouldn't be. They were like, no, she doesn't really miss it. Look, I do think she talks a lot about Beverly Hills Housewives. Yes. And I do think she would go back if the money were right and the cast were right. But this is why LVP, I mean, she has a show named after her. I mean, imagine if the Sarah Fraser show existed on Bravo and it was a bunch of like 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds running around fucking each other. And all you had to do is come in and be Mama Sarah and give your advice and blow out. And your salary was so high. Yeah.
The dream. All right. Well, I want to go back. What do you think? So supposedly Tom and Raquel have been having sex for 6 months. Okay. So we're talking, when did this start? September? Like, what do you think? And there's everybody's coming out of the woodwork. Tom, I guess, Ariana's had depression issues. Her one of her grandparents is unwell. To your point, she never really wanted to get married. I don't know if she wants to have kids or not. I mean, what do you think? Where do you think this broke down? Because I guarantee you, and I'm sure you've had friends over the years. I've had friends who found out their significant other was cheating on them. I mean, they always have an inkling. Always. They always in their gut know something is up. I mean, there's even a story now that Raquel stayed over at their house and Ariana found Tom exiting her room at 4 a.m. where he said he was bringing her like a glass of water or something, or he heard her up. I mean, that right there is like, no. I mean, if she was staying at their house, she was, recovering from an illness. She just had chemo or something. And okay, sure. But he's leaving her room at 4 a.m. And, that wasn't like that. So I'm just saying to you, did you see any red flags? Did you hear any rumblings 6 months ago?